Right, hello and welcome to the first episode of the Record Around podcast, which is a series organised by myself in which each episode we take representatives from different RRs on the subreddit and discuss topical matters within the world of Record Arounds and just general stuff. So, with me today I have my right hand man, my partner in crime, Lego Beast.
Hello.
We don't have maximum 50 because he's
Thank
never
God.
recorded around under the sun, and we also have. So for the first episode, we are joined by Pathfinder. So we have organizer Joey.
Hello.
We have intro maker Kanako.
Hello, greetings.
We have British person Emeric.
That's what you call me.
I can think of anything else.
I can't wait to see what you
What
have
does
in my
Emeric do?
Pacasmic.
Ruined
And-
That's what I do.
Actually, no, I should have said we have Kazbek. I mean Emeric, because that's what I did throughout the entirety of Folk Tales 3. I just called
That was
Emeric
great.
Kazmic for the whole season. Anyway, and we have
Casmic
Kazmic.
and we have Casmic.
We actually have
dickhead who
Kazmic.
lost
We
his
do. We
switch.
have both. This is
Okay.
horrible. All right. So, so I've got a list of topics. Some were suggested by people via Twitter, and some were just things which I came up with. Before we begin, does anybody have anything in particular that they want to talk about? Topical.
I dislike Casmic.
Yep. So do I.
Well,
I don't blame you guys, to be
I
honest.
guess I
Right,
would
we'll
have
talk
some
about
good
that for a
starting
while.
words.
What?
Yeah,
Right.
it's pretty nice that y'all here, and I'm definitely hyped for the good old questionnaires and whatnot. I
What
hope
is
you all
happening?
too. What is happening, Vape Nation? Whatever.
You
Alright.
just
Just
really
start
made
the
this.
Let's just start the fucking podcast.
Alright, so the first thing we're going to be discussing is Grudge-Match and the era of competitive RRs because why not? So rounds like Grudge-Match have really taken off as people are starting to prefer competitive PvP orientated rounds over ones which focus on caving and commentary. So, right, what do people think? How does
That
this
just-
affect other rounds?
That just kind of naturally kind of reflects how the community's been lately. It's just migrated a lot more towards everything is PvP and no one gives a shit about caving. It's kind of moved alongside that, because even though that change has been happening for quite a long time, I think now it's actually now starting to affect RRs in that people more likely just want to watch good fighting instead of people having a good time talking.
I mean, there's always been that group of people where it's like, what do you prefer to watch in an RR? People who are good at like PvP but are awful at commentary, or people who are really good at like commentary but can't like left click, stuff like that. And for myself, I always like watching commentary, which is why I usually watch like people like Sneak Snag or that kind of group, as opposed to watching. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I like most of the perspectives in Grudge-Match. Like, Season 2 had a lot of good perspectives, but in an FFA setting of Grudge-Match, that was not very entertaining to watch, like, one perspective at a time, because some of the commentary was, like, slow-ish.
I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily that, the fact that they're all really good at PvP by any means they're unable to commentate. There are a lot of people in there who
Yeah.
are very good commentators, but I personally still find it more enjoyable to watch people who can make caving seem interesting than those who are... Because as long as the skill level is, like, neutral, it's fine. It doesn't matter if everyone's really good or everyone's really bad, really, I think.
I think if someone wants to have a good RR perspective, like when it comes to either like PvP ability and commentary, you can still have a good perspective with or without a skill at PvP, but you kind of at least need like a little bit of commentary skills to carry it, because you could be a god at the game and defeat every opponent you fight, just 10 heart them, but if you like stay silent that whole time and then just say like, yeah, so I killed a guy, it's not going to be entertaining.
No, of course
You need
it
at least, I think, you can be garbage at the game and still have good and still have a good perspective if you're good at commentating, but if you're good at the game and have bad commentary, it can still be unenjoyable.
Yeah. No, but I think, like, there's different types of being good at commentary, really. Like, team-based and solo-based. Like, take... What was that round? Determination, that was the one, I think. Kazmic and Emeric, you both played that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was sort of targeted at solo commentary, and everyone there was, pretty good at doing that. Whereas if you take Pathfinder, I think that's more of a commentary-based recorded round, as opposed to like a PvP orientated one. But I think Season 4 didn't really have that to it, because the round, everybody's good at commentating, talking with their friends and having a laugh. But most of the perspective I watched of Season 4, people weren't too good at solo commentary.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I was very hesitant with doing a free-for-all for Pathfinder for a while. The only reason, but a lot of people seem to want it. So I thought, I guess it's worth having at least one to see if it's any good, see if it goes well. I'd say it, like, in terms of PvP,
Microphone muted.
Entertainment-wise, it wasn't too bad.
Microphone
I mean, we
activated.
definitely had a lot more in that season than we had in the last two early on, but at the same time, like, commentary-wise, I can agree it wasn't the most interesting season. So I think most of them, we're definitely better in team-based stuff in terms of entertainment.
Most recent season of Pathfinder was that one was good to watch, like the Team of 3 setting. I liked watching.
agree.
Team of 3 just always tends to work with commentary.
I mean, here's how, like, if it's Team of 2, unless the two people, unless it's wish teams or chosen teams, or you cannot do a random Team of 2 recorder round and expect every single perspective to be good, which is why wish Team of 2 is the only Team of 2 that I think should be in a recorded round kind of thing, unless the entire round knows each other, but there's no way that's possible. Like,
But you take Cataclysm, and they really do all know each other.
Well,
that's what makes it so good, because on top of the fact that they're all really good at PvP, so they have it from that perspective that it's good for like the modern style of UHC. The fact that it's all like a one huge friend group recorded round, they can do random teams, and they do all know each other.
I think. I think that what was I saying? Yeah, that random teams of 2 is pretty much, as you said, like the worst thing that could happen. For example, it happened to me in that recent one-off Welcome to Hell thingy. Basically, we did random teams of 2, and that was teamed with Venom, and I'm not gonna lie, I literally had no clue who he is.
Yeah, people weren't overly happy with that. Like you said, who even are you?
Yeah, it's as stupid as it sounds. It is actually like that. I think I said it to himself that I'm not entirely sure. Well, who you are, so to speak. But yeah, it's fine as long as you know the person. But good luck with having a person you never talked to, or like almost never talked to. It's like the pre-game lobby is not the best place to bond, so to speak.
It's like, I don't blame you, Keegan. Like, everyone was like, I think the majority of white people were like, everyone loves Venom, I think. But at the same time, it's like,
thing, not a you thing.
Yeah, like at the same time, like you can't just, if an organizer, I've noticed this in a few record rounds I'm in, if an organizer has to ask before like the pre-randomization of teams, like if there's anyone you do not want to be with, message me. Like that's like, I mean, of course it's gonna happen, but like it's always like, I mean, if you have like a serious problem with someone in the round, that's like, I don't know. I've always seen that in a few rounds, and then like at the same time, like if you're gonna be silent the entire season with your teammate, which is why Team of 3 always works out, because there's always gonna be like one equalizer, hopefully.
Yeah, somebody's just gonna start shit posting.
I think
verbally
a bit
and-
more than that, it can be quite chaotic, but 2 is a bit awkward.
In regards to Welcome to Hell, I had no clue what to expect with my teammate at all.
I didn't
Who
know
were you
half
with?
I was with IX.
Okay.
Oh.
I had no idea what to expect. Because usually like I usually kind of know people at least. I know people a little bit, so like if I was teamed with like I don't know, like Fairy, it would be like, oh okay, no, I can talk to him. That would have been the whole season. But like as soon as I saw I was teamed with IX, I was like, what the fuck are we gonna talk about? At the end it turned out alright. There were still quite a few quiet moments. We did manage to talk a good amount, but like I had no fucking clue what to expect with IX.
Yeah,
It was so weird.
Yeah, if we're already talking about IX, I was in one of the WMCs. That was a team of 4, right?
Which one?
I can't remember. The team of 4, I think it was the captain's one.
Most latest one, 20.
Actually, it's one, right?
The latest one. I am completely not on topic with this one, but I also like I know like each one separately. Pizza Dudes, I had Zalza and I had IX in my team. I felt super out of place.
Yeah.
Like that was like how should I handle these
They're
people?
like granddads of WMC.
Yeah, like I'm this newbie here, like just strolling around, you know. It's
Yeah,
like
you're like their grandson, and they're like telling you stories of like the past, and you're like, oh, I don't know what's going on.
yeah.
Back in my day.
Should I leave? Should I pay? Should I ask questions?
I'm gonna laugh at myself. This thing.
Obviously.
But back on topic with like Grudge-Match and things like that, it really is a
How'd
case
we
of
get
like the new meta of UHC has flooded its way into RRs. Like, I don't think there's any doubt that like the Harvard server has really taken the front foot in changing the way UHC is, and the fact that the two
Saving
recorded
UHC.
rounds which have like adapted to this are the two which are predominantly like Harvard members, Cataclysm and Grudge-Match, and like both of them have started doing fast melting for their seasons, and like in the past rounds which did cut clean for their seasons, you know, you saw a season 1 on the subreddit with like cut clean in it, you know, you'd be like, oh god, this is destined
If I
to
saw
die
a
'cause it
season
just
10
wasn't
that
a
did
done
cut
thing.
clean, I'd be like, why?
Sounds like the Cube, TBH.
Yeah, oh, don't get me started.
I remember
on
when
Cube.
Cube released with cut clean, and people were like, "Well, this is really stupid." But
Season
nowadays,
12.
like, if a Reddit round came out with cut clean, people probably wouldn't kick that too much of a fuss.
Depends which round it is. Like,
There'd be that one group of people.
Sorry, go ahead.
There'd be that if a group of people saw like a season 1 especially, or even like a season like 5 or 6 do a cut clean, I don't think it'd go over too well with certain people. People would be like, ugh, like this is disgusting. This is not right. It's like, all right.
Unnatural.
But
Yeah,
I said from the
this is
start
different.
that I thought, you know, eventually Kata, you know, Grudge-Match I didn't think about, but I knew it wouldn't be long before Kata adapted to fast melting or cut clean, because it's just the type of UHC they prefer, and as a group, you know, if it was like another round, which is very much a mix between hyper-competitive players and the more laid-back players, something like that would never work. But considering it's a round which is based off a friend group which all share the same like opinion on that thing, it's much easier for them to adapt than other rounds, because there are still rounds which have very good players in them, but they aren't designed to be competitive. It's just the friend group involved happens
Yeah.
to be good PvPers.
Yeah, the best example I think is WMC. Like, it is purely a commentary based round.
And Brick.
Yeah, and then there's Brick and Dibs. And in
Dibs
the
isn't
earlier
really that
seasons
good
was
anymore, though. He
CMAD.
doesn't play.
Yeah, Dibs
Yeah,
is alright.
Dibs basically got his name for just raffle stomping season 9. But still, you have
Emphasis
Brick,
on
you have,
stomping.
I don't know, to some extent, like Tommy. Tommy or Dan's, I guess you could say. I'm just going through the Skype
Just
chat
open up-
looking
yeah,
for
just
people.
read out names.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on a minefield right here. I don't know. Maybe
You should probably just stop
I think
talking.
Raider was a good one.
Oh my god.
Raider was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Costanza obviously the
Pep.
yeah Costanza. Yeah, don't see anyone else which I would spoil XD. But yeah, it's surely there's always going to be some person who's just that much better in any kind of way, like maybe commentary or like PvP or something. For example, I like to talk about this a lot, but in one of the Hilton Quiver seasons, season 4, that was like a while ago,
Oh
we had
my.
like
Oh,
Engal,
this
Wing,
Engal, Tommy, and Wing.
Wing.
Like Wing
Yeah.
maybe got 1 kill, I can't remember. I think he got a single
got
kill,
like
and then it
6,
was
and
just
Tommy
the
got 5.
Engal show. That was the Engal show
Yeah,
afterwards.
you hear Engal talk, like, oh god, this team, and he's like Wingnut, I'm like, oh, alright. Like, you're suddenly like okay with that team kind of, and then you're like, nope, not okay with it anymore around episode
Yeah,
2.
Yeah, after episode 4, you start just thinking, nope, nope.
Once Engal got his 3rd kill in the span of 10 seconds, like, alright, this isn't happening anymore.
Yeah, this is not okay.
I really don't think anyone will ever beat Dibs' RR kill record, because back in the day, people sort of just went with the flow a bit more. But nowadays, if somebody got that many kills in a record round, it would get redone. So there's no way any good Reddit
to be
RR
fair,
will ever get that beaten, unless they have like 60
to
players
be
or
fair,
something.
Emilio 2 was fine.
What
And
happened in Emilio 2?
Short got 10 kills.
Did he? Oh, fucking hell, I didn't even realise.
Well, the
Alright,
thing is, Short got 10 kills and 7. It was a team of 3 season. No, it was a team of 4 season. Short got 10 kills and 7 of those were as a solo.
What?
Yeah, I think
Wasn't
that
it 8 kills?
that was probably the reason why it didn't get.
Yeah, it's because
He was also
redone.
quite low at the end, wasn't he?
Did I
He was-
miss
Wasn't he rather low on
Wait a
health?
minute.
I think people started missing out on that. I'm like thinking as well. Like I didn't
I don't
ever
remember that
hear
at
of
all.
that.
I'm not saying you're lying.
yeah,
but
Short had 10
Oh no, I
kills.
do remember that.
Wait,
That's right,
was he
was
low on
really
health? I
awesome.
didn't watch.
Yeah, I
he was
think he was on,
fairly-
like,
he was fairly
He's
low.
at least
yeah.
4 hearts, wasn't he? At the lowest.
Yeah, it wasn't like a stomp. He did. It wasn't like a complete stomp. He did get close to death.
I mean, the Rock Project did really well in the final fight against Dibs. It has to be said.
I mean, he won.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right. Yeah, it's got 14 kills
No,
and
but
lost.
seriously.
Yeah.
I think it just depends. Like, the community's so large now. Like, for example, we have actually just on the day of this recording, the Reddit's hit 7,000 subscribers at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I
Ooh,
think
congrats.
although there are some
Okay.
competitive record rounds like Grudge-Match and Cataclysm, as you say, I think it's nice that there are also some other ones that are more commentary based. Like, well, as we've said, Pathfinder is more commentary based. But there's also a bunch of others that I would list right now, but I just cannot get off the top of my head that are more commentary based. Like, the community's so big now, it's nice to have a range of different ones so that everyone has something to be interested in, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But I suppose there's not really that many which are too greatly on either side. Like, you get a couple which you look at and think straight away, that's commentary based, and that's WMC. You look at hyper competitive RRs, and that's Grudge-Match and Cataclysm. Most of them are fairly down the middle. Like, take, I don't know, Folktales, for example, as that's one that I'm actually in. Like, you wouldn't really call that competitive or commentary based. It's sort of straight down the middle, because obviously you got some people in it which are, like, really good at PvP who have, you know, been in it, you know, like Phineas, Bogo, Craft, that group, and then you got, you know, the sort of more laid-back people, like the Pathfinder half of the round, which are certainly more commentary-based, and that's what made Season 1 a little bit on the unbalanced side, since when you got Phineas, Bogo, and Poem as a chosen team of 3, you know...
And then in comparison, you also have like Inara, Katie, and David.
That was a great team.
Fucking me, Kevin, and Sirius.
Like, fucking Kevin, like, nearly killed me in that season. Like, what? Like, listening to him. Kevin's just a nuisance all around, isn't he?
Like it was so. I had to like edit my audio for that because Kevin's scream was piercingly loud. It would. You could see like very clearly in like the audio track for the video file when Kevin found a zombie. It was terrifying.
Merrick, you had a great Season 1, didn't you?
Oh yeah, that went great. I think we'll end it at that. That's all we need to say about that.
Next topic.
Move on.
Right, do people actually want to move on?
I think
Alright.
everything.
I think
Right,
the
yeah.
only thing I have to add to about Grudge-Match and Cataclysm is that, well, before those two came around, there weren't really that many hyper competitive RRs, with the exception of Apex, but that
May God rest his soul.
I think
Died
I
off
think
after the first
R&R was pretty close to being like the competitive one in the bunch.
I'd also
Yeah.
argue Cynical was quite.
I would
Yeah,
too.
that's
Cynical
good.
was-
That's a good
Cynical,
shout.
Cynical was like
Especially
nearly
the
completely
later
competitive.
seasons, like around 7 to 9 is when
Yeah.
it
But
got
that was
really
like-
When
It
you
was
got
like
like two,
competitive
when you
and,
got like
like, Ice Cube.
Tootikins, Nico, and that getting added to the round, it really took a competitive turn.
Don't discount my man Ice Cube.
I love
dare
Ice
you.
Cube.
Red
No idea
Sin.
who he is, but he's just been in there
I-
the entire
I
time.
recently found out that I was subscribed to him because he said he's making a new channel. I'm like, what? All right, let's move on. Let's break it.
Okay, so next question is a little bit more like open to interpretation, so I'll let you discuss. Like, what do you consider to be RR etiquette? I'll say
Hey,
no
let's talk about
more.
M.
Well, I guess I could begin with that and saying RR etiquette for me at least is from the organizing side. You actually do your stuff and don't like lol. Here's a server. Lol, have fun. Lol, let's record sometime. Maybe XD. And yeah, since I think I'll go in a bit. I was a part of the organization for cinema, and you have no clue what happened there. It was really fun, first of all, but second of all, it was a huge mess. I'm just gonna say that outright. Shoutouts to Billy.
Organizing
And-
is only hard if you make it hard. Like, I've never had
It's-
any problems with MFD.
it's
Like, we've always
kinda-
kept really on top of things, and it's been a blast.
It's not
to see.
hard, but it can go really bad really fast. I've seen that. I think that if you just not pay attention in like on one part of the entire business, something will just go awfully wrong. Then further on in the game, I don't know, even like pre-game or post-game organizing. And I think the good etiquette would be just the person who just takes care of their own recorded round properly.
What do people think though, from like an in-game point of view? Because like when you got a public game and stuff, you know, certain play styles which might be used to try and win. You know, things like cleaning up backstabbing. You know, there's certain things which you probably do in-game which might be slightly, you know, frowned upon in a recorded round. You know, even if you didn't realize it. Like, take
I
my kills, take my team's kills on the split in Rising Stars, where we didn't read chat. Now, alright, we didn't read chat and we accidentally ghost killed
God,
someone.
not
That's
this
all. I'm
was-
gonna
okay.
get absolute hell for bringing this up. but,
Okay,
like,
wait. Okay. Bad. Fat.
Here's the thing about that. That wasn't like you intentionally
No.
playing Scubby.
bloody
like,
hell, people
like,
acted
you-
like it was fucking intentional. I'll tell you that much.
All right.
We'll
do
move
not
on.
get it.
Move on.
I want to move on. Okay,
Family,
I want to point
I
out.
had family walk in my room in the middle of my point. God damn it.
I want to point out.
Alright, Kazmik, go ahead if you want.
But Lego
Lego.
wants to point something out.
I'll let Kazmik go. No,
What
no,
happens
no.
if
All
I-
You know, Lego. You can speak. You can go.
right, fine. Go ahead. Story season 4. Mordon lava suicided on Max, and at the same time, I did not have a really fun season to begin with. And when I was getting shot at by 4 people at once, and I was at half heart, I'm like, I'm gonna see if I can shoot myself, get my first RR kill, and I didn't do it in time. So, if you watch my perspective, you will see like I'm like pulling like my bow, but I don't do it enough to correct an arrow comes out, so it doesn't work. Like it was bad.
If
But-
you're going to talk about like people suiciding in RRs in terms of killing themselves, I know Speed did it twice in Distancia.
Yeah, twice in a row.
Yeah, and I think someone in Ambition did it once, not 100% certain.
Oh,
I don't know, I might be wrong.
I think I know who you're
Um,
talking
yeah,
about. I'm not
right.
sure of that.
Yeah,
I
that's
was,
right.
yeah.
I was on the verge of
did-
getting my first RR kill, and then the person who I was chasing decided to shoot themselves.
You don't have
like-
one yet?
No. This was when I didn't
Oh,
have
damn.
one.
I still don't have one. I was hoping I wasn't alone.
You hope that you were not the exception.
Yeah, I
Wait, do you really not?
don't. I really
Aw.
don't. It's there's some interesting. You'll see it when it happens. You'll know what I'm talking about. Just forget it for now. Just continue.
I suppose, like, some things people might act like, if you said in advance, you know, would you care if someone did that in a record around, they'd just be like, nah, it wouldn't bother me. But then it does when it actually happens. Like, if something happens in an RR, that like loads of your friends are in, and like you can tell that somebody's done something people frown upon, because rant accounts are just they take a turn for the worse.
That's a whole nother topic.
It's like after Pathfinder 5 was recorded, you could tell it went well, because everyone in Pathfinder was talking about how good the round they just played was on their rant account and stuff.
Well, I did not know this.
They didn't name it. I just could tell from the group of people all saying
It's like
shit posting about it.
I remember,
it's like especially like kind of the kind of people that I follow on my rant account, even if they don't mention the names of RRs, just like the timing of when certain people say certain things, you can probably like figure out in your head. It's like, oh, an RR went badly, and it's these people, so it's this RR.
Yeah.
You can kind of figure it out in your head.
there was one instance on my rent account. I think it was after Agency 4. Before it happened, I tweeted out, "I'm very excited for this RR." And the second I died, I tweeted out, "That was the worst RR I've ever played."
Yeah, sorry about that.
And Jester on his private account tweeted a picture of both tweets at the same time, and I completely forgot I tweeted the first one. It was so funny to look at, just side by side. It was so...
Pure shit post.
In terms of in terms of like to go back to more general in terms of RR etiquette, I feel like in the case of the Rising Stars Folktales instance, I think that's it was not intended to be scummy, but there's like certain things that people do kind of in public games that are very scummy,
it's like if you do something and then you're like really proud of it. Like in public games, people will probably more than likely ghost kill you if these days sometimes, and people won't really care. But in recorded rounds, people will at least hopefully feel bad after it, and at least apologize, I guess.
Yeah, but that's the thing, when people say sorry, it really winds people up. Like, I know that if somebody kills me in a dickish way and then they say sorry, I'm chat, I'm just thinking, well, you're not sorry, are you? And it's the same for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, everyone says, oh yeah, I'd like at least an apology. Whenever anyone apologizes, they just get given hell for it.
Just like, what's good enough for you? God damn it! What do you want me to do?
Exactly, but that's the thing. If you play Scummy in a public game, alright, it's a public game. There's a million more after that. If you do something scummy in a recorder round, nothing you can say is going to make that better for that person, because you've just ruined that season in a really scummy way for that person.
Because it's like a kind of special event, especially.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a special event because you don't get together with all of these people every day. So it's like every 2 or 3 months you get together with some friends, and then if someone does something not so etiquette as a saying, then people aren't going to be too happy about that.
One-time RRs especially, which is probably what made it the worst for the split team, because Sean especially, the owner of the team, being like one of the organisers, who'd sort of worked hard to create an RR, and then their team season had been ended in such an awful way.
Yeah.
And that's me, who I was part of causing that. And like,
I feel like Scottish could probably make a case as to why one-time RRs aren't special. After seeing what happened to him in Battle Royale.
What happened to him in Battle Royale?
That's where he died immediately and no one noticed.
He died like 2 minutes in because he ran up to a trapped monument, died, and then just immediately started playing another game. I heard of the story before the RR was released, but I didn't know the person. I heard someone say yeah, some dude played this RR. He died 2 minutes in, and then just immediately went and started playing Counter-Strike afterwards.
Oh yeah, I've heard that as well. Somebody did that. Like, lol, let's go play CS.
Yeah, that's what that's how I don't get angry in a recorder round. Because I try not to get angry when I play public games, which I usually don't. But in recorder rounds, it's a bit different because they're like you said, a bit more special. So in order to not get angry, I'll go put something on Steam, go put Portal or something, and
I just try to keep my rage out of chat. When I first played RRs, it was sort of such an honor to be able to play them. That, however tragically the event of the season ended, however bad the season actually was, just being able to say I was in an RR, it's special. But when you play more RRs and they actually lose their specialness and just become something that you just look forward to for what it is, if it ends, if you spend your whole day building up to it, then
Like hyping
you know.
yourself up, doing push-ups, you know.
I think one of my favorite messages. in
Push-ups of
chat
your
is-
fingers, like to have your
Your thumbs.
trigger finger just like go in, you know, like for that
That's
CPS.
definitely one good point of our etiquette is keeping salt out of chat. That's probably
Stelios.
a good.
One of my favorite messages after someone dies in a recorder round is, "I've been waiting so long for this, and you do that to me? My word!"
Who said? Has anybody said that?
Someone has actually said that, and for like I think 5 minutes during your I was like dying, and my teams were telling me to stop. It wasn't that funny, but like he capitalized a word, and I just couldn't do it.
I will
sorry.
admit I've been horribly. There was definitely one RR at least where I was horribly salty in chat. It was after I died in Distancia 4. After I had been running around on the surface for 5 episodes straight with like nothing. I tried to find a demo. It was because it was love at first sight. Trying to find a teammate for 5 episodes straight, and then getting immediately killed by the OP team. I just like in my footage, in my episode,
yeah.
it cuts off right as I die. But if like you watch other people, I write in chat.
I
that
have
was a
to
waste
say
of
it's
time.
the same with me in Rising Stars, because I was a little bit annoyed at the Cataclysm team after that. You know, being annoyed, running around on the surface for episodes sounds a lot like a full diamond Kinako in EuroLeague. Like me, Joris, Phased, and Winther found you, and you were in full diamond, and you were just so. Because it's easier to get pissed off at someone in Mumble. Like you just complain at them whilst you're being killed. Like if a full diamond guy's chasing you down in Mumble, you're just like, oh no, come on, don't do it,
Yeah,
don't be an
I
arsehole.
think in
Whereas in like a
Mumble-
normal FFA, no one would be able to do that. So why should it make a difference, really?
Yeah,
I
I actually think in
with recorded rounds, so I can echo. I've had my issues in recorded rounds where I've been salty after it, but I've
yeah, I
tried to
actually
remain
have
a
my
minimum.
fair share of them. I can for example, like big teams games are a big amazing part of my
Let's see what you did
RR
there.
history. Since in most of them, for the exception of the newest big teams game, I've played TTE season 12, I
Alright.
think it was, or
Yeah.
11.
Yeah, it
That
was
was
12.
12. Well, basically, there I actually found my team. I got like a good loadout. I don't know, like good armor, good all swords and whatnot. But in the other ones, for example, WMC 16.
Oh no!
the
Wait, were you on the
Euro
lime
League,
team or the orange team out of interest?
I think I was. Well, I was on
You
the
were on
team
the
that got
orange team, I
fucking
think.
demolished.
So you were on orange then.
Yes.
Ouch.
Well, basically, I like first episode. I find a temple, and whatchamacallit, a blacksmith. Get myself a fucking whatchamacallit, enchantments. In first episode, I find brick. No, not brick. Break salad. Then we spend 5 episodes not seeing any soul. In the meantime, we both get full diamond and then some. And then we come up to a screaming dance, just like screaming at the top of his goddamn lungs. And 5 people around him. And then Nihon shows up. He was on our team, apparently. And he didn't have anything. He didn't even have a chance. And in the meantime, we're just sitting here, 2 people in full diamond being attacked by like an army of people.
I think
Because
the
they
thing with
apparently found each other somehow.
The thing with WMC 16 is the fact that when they were killing each other one by one, there's so little opponents at a time, but so many people on the big team. Like, when there was just 1 player left, I think 3 people died killing 1 player because they all
That's
jumped
right.
off the hill. It's like it just sums up how kill
Burning
thirsty
shot Tommy
everyone
off
on
or
the green
something.
team were in that season because they just all wanted all the kills, and like you
I
kind of
know
get
it's-
that.
I don't know if you watch Nihon's perspective during that season, but I remember first episode he was really pissed. don't know.
Wait, that just doesn't sound right in my head.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. Like, I thought it was like a joke episode or something. No, he's like, God, these teams are so. Oh God, it's not even fair. God, I'm like, oh my God, what's happening here? I think I was like, oh, jeez. So like, I ended
Yeah.
up switching perspectives at one point.
No, that's insane, yeah. And yeah, EuroLeague as well. I think
Sorry
the
about
big no problem, but I think leading into that at least some I don't know, quote unquote rage in Mumble, I think it adds to the experience.
I love
like-
Mumble, it's just a lot of pain to set up. Like, Leonard played the entire season of EuroLeague without working Mumble. Like, he stopped messaging me about it like halfway through episode 1, so I thought he must have fixed it, but when my team found him and Sam, he just wasn't talking. To be fair, we only went ahead with it because so many people had so much fun. If you look at it from a general perspective, it was probably one of the worst RR seasons of all times. The kill ball was horribly, like, unbalanced. There was no world border. Like,
Yeah, that was a lot.
everyone, like, some people, like, 5,000 blocks away at meetup. Because, like,
Yeah,
there was
everyone
just
just
no
went
border.
out, like, peaced out.
Also, that
Yeah,
made our
it's-
commentary so depressing, because we just spent the entire season thinking, this is getting redone anyway, so what's the point? Like, Joris couldn't speak, I had to be quiet, so
That's
it was
another
just
thing
Phased
with,
and Winther trying to
that's
keep
another-
positive.
That's
Trying
another
to
thing
keep
about
5
ours, 'cause you
people
have to make
alive.
sure, like, the entire game itself is actually set up first. Like, if someone watches a recording and then they see, like, a bunch of issues happen, it's not going to be taken very well at all, depending on what the issue is, especially, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but like when
Definitely.
people, because the EuroLeague roster for the actual season was very different to the round that was sort of I started, and like when you got people like Fairy messaging me after the season, like, yo, how did it go? And I'm thinking, well, it was the worst recorded round I've ever played, but at the same time it was the best recorded round I've ever played. Like, just everybody loved the season despite how god awful it really was when you put it in
I thought it was
perspective.
quite intense, actually. Like, especially the ending
Yeah,
was quite
because
close.
it was fun. I think even with all the BS that happened, it was fun. It just as
That was
stupid
just
as it
poor
was.
communication by me and Sid. The issues, like, we both thought each other were pre-genning, and because there was no pre-gen, there was no, like, invisible world border, or, like,
Yeah, like maybe
fair,
the
credit to
behind the
Sid's
scenes-
server for holding up
Yeah,
unpre-gen
Sid's-
for the entire season.
yeah,
like,
in general, Sid's servers have been. I don't know how he gets them, but they are
Dan's
absolutely
is dead,
insane.
isn't it? Which is weird,
I
because
don't know what-
Dan's server, like, by itself, seems to be one of the most laggy ones going. Like, if you watch the start of All Stars 3, like, it lags for the entire season, and, like, I know it's the biggest RR there's ever been, but it is still only, like, 46
Yeah, it wasn't-
people.
Clarification, biggest.
Yeah,
limit.
I don't know. There is something with Dan's server, but yeah, going back to Sid, even back in like when I did a bit of hosting, like there was like early draft crafters. You know that, Joy? That that 1 2 gigabyte server he had. It took just everything. I don't know how. Like you could legit just run 2 games on it at once, and it just chugged it. The server just absolutely chomped through everything, and it just didn't give a fuck.
Can I say we are meant to be talking about RR etiquette? Like,
I think we gotta move on about this,
Alright.
shouldn't we?
does
Yeah.
anyone want to move on? Anything else to add? Anyone apart from Key?
Merrick?
No, I
Or otherwise
think
we'll
it's-
talk for another 3
Well,
hours.
for me,
yeah,
very,
people need to do what they need to do and think about it, and that's it basically.
Right.
For me, very personal things, like very personal instances of things I would not consider good etiquette, which have happened in the past, would be stuff like lava suiciding, or trying to at least kill yourself before someone else kills you, crafting golden pressure plates. I would consider it.
JJL. Discovery
Because-
2.
Someone, yeah, it was happening in Discovery. Someone did it in the final season of Outcast, and I think someone else did it in that season of Kata as well, maybe.
Really?
Um, Yeah.
Actually, I think I might have seen that. Anyway, anyone not happy to move on?
No, fine, let's move on. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, could I was wondering about everyone's opinions on episode 2 PvP.
Oh,
Because that's
I have a-
something that's...
Yeah, okay, we could be here for
Okay,
another
can I
half
please
an hour
start
then.
with
Yeah, go ahead.
Get out
Lana.
of
I
Any
have
words?
one thing to say.
Dear, what have I-
Killing
Hey,
someone
don't
2
know anything
minutes
about it.
into episode 2 is unacceptable, and I'm looking at Oblivion TU. Yeah, I'll name names. Frenzy Season 7 was atrocious for me. I had probably the best. It was me, Xenon, Verxity, and Slowpro. Like, my dream team. possibly. Xenon dies to lava at the end of episode 1, then 2 minutes in episode 2, I'm in half iron, and look who shows up to stop the fun. It's none other than the man himself, just digging a hole, hitting my feet. I was so upset for
I suppose
weeks.
if it happens to you, it's absolutely awful. But when you think about it, like, that is the entire point. Like, if you don't want PvP to be enabled for the first half of episode 2, then have PvP enabled halfway through episode 2. Like, you've had 20 minutes of immunity. That's the point.
You'll still die like 2 minutes.
It's the start of episode 2, which means PvP is on. It's like when people would get DQ'd for stalking, like, because, you know, even if there was no proof they actually stalked, if they got DQ for stalking in a public game because they killed someone 30 seconds after PvP was enabled, if you're going to do that for every PvP death, which happens in the first minute after PvP, make PvP enabled 21 minutes into the game.
I mean,
but then
I
people
don't think that it's
21 minutes into the game.
That's a good point.
I
Can't
don't.
win.
Yeah, but if
I
they
don't
weren't
think
actually
it is
stalking,
the-
and it was just
Yeah.
coincidence, and they
Like,
get
that's
DQ'd
another
just
thing
on the
with
assumption.
That's another thing with recorded events. I personally don't mind episode 2 deaths. I mean, obviously, I'd be sad if it ever happened to me, but like, if you think about it in reality, PvP's on. Like, you're like you've got to be careful at this point. I'd say if you're stalking someone in a recorded round, then that isn't really the nicest thing to do. But if it's like 12 minutes into episode 2 and like you die to a kill, like you can't really get mad at that. Like it's like PvP's on. You got to be careful.
I think it's more who it is. Like, I mean, if it was me and I see someone like 3 minutes into episode 2, I probably wouldn't go for them, even though I still don't have a kill. I probably wouldn't do it just because I'm a nice guy.
Depends if it's going to end well. Like, in one of the takes of Neapolitan Season 4, it was like a THS 3, and me...
Oh, it's Neapolitan. I know what it is.
RW Dragons.
Kind of ice cream.
When the game mode was actually the RR name.
Yeah, it was THS 3. And me and some guy had the same idea of, you know, just run around the sort of borders, mining all the gold on the walls. And we ended up seeing each other, you know, like a minute after PvP was enabled, and we just saw each other and thought, is it going to be worth either one of our whiles? You know, whichever one of us dies, you know, neither one of us... You know, we're not going to get 10'd, we're not going to be able to backstab each other. Whichever one of us survives is just going to be in a bad position.
Yeah,
What's the point?
it's a lose-lose.
Whereas if you see somebody who's enchanted and you see them in their cave and you can backstab them as soon as PvP's enabled, go for it, because it's actually going to benefit you, and PvP's enabled for the reason. If you go after someone just for the sake of getting a kill as soon as PvP's enabled and it's going to do absolutely no
Therefore,
good
the
for you,
stats
then
I have a
then
weird,
that's
like,
a bit stupid.
weird example of that. Nothing to have read it at all, but in Mindcrack UHC5, this is a really good example of this. Doc just went straight off the pack rat almost as soon, like halfway through episode 2.
Okay, but
it's pack
Come
rat.
on,
If he doesn't die in episode
Come
1,
on.
it's wrong.
Neither of them basically had any armor on, and he was left at like 3.5 hearts. And because of
Oh,
this,
yeah,
he just was
yeah,
screwed for
that
the
was-
entire season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
It's like,
so
it's
stupid.
Not, it's not a Reddit thing, but like, but
It's-
in
it's a
UHC
human
time,
thing.
That's practically the beginning of episode 2, considering the situation. If that makes sense.
If
The
you're
only
talking
reason-
about that. Okay.
Lego.
Yeah, no, you go on.
Okay, the only reason I think episode 2 PvP is a good thing is because I know it was a large viewing audience that would possibly skip episode 1, where like nothing happens, and then just watch episode 2 on, where there's possible PvP. Unless they're those kind of guys that like to like skip through the video to the end and look at like the kill board and then skip to certain parts to find the kill. I know there's certain people that do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joey was talking about Doc Ham. I think Doc Ham is like like
Oh, he
one of
kills
the
everyone.
try-hardy
There was
persons.
another good example of that is in season 11, where he killed Dinnerbone and landed on himself on 1.5 hearts.
Yeah, that was
Didn't he-
also like
didn't he
very
die to an
early,
Enderman?
wasn't it?
No, he died to a skeleton.
Why did
In,
Doc end
yeah.
in Grudge-Match?
in episode 1, might I add, like what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he went in
8
so
minutes in,
early
killed
for no
one,
reason.
killed
It's like when-
1.5 hearts left. Like,
like
what's
when-
the point?
It's like when Anders killed a Vidya like 2 minutes into season 11.
Yeah, that was
Because he
his
got a
law.
backstab on him. Doc just
Oh, yeah,
went
he did
straight into
take
straight
that.
confrontation.
Oh yeah, he jumped into a cave and just melee for it.
Yeah, he
think-
lost like 2 hearts, I think, to fall damage beforehand.
Just
Even
jumping
like
on him.
he just jumped
wait,
in
wait.
completely retard mode.
Why are we talking about Minecraft now? What is happening?
We've gone a bit off the rails.
All right,
here.
let's just move on whilst we still
Let's
can.
go. Let's get back
Marcus
to the
is the
rails.
best.
Alright,
I
so
think
the
that-
next question is Uprising intro creators. Like,
Zentian.
who's... Alright. Why Zentian?
Okay, Zentian. Okay, let's talk about his early intros. Like, okay, like, what was that? What was the season of
Unreleased Cat of 5?
Cat of 4, when it was like a team of 4, I think it was, or a team of 5, whatever. That intro was like, eh. But then look at Cat of 5. Look at Cat of 6.
That was amazing intro. It's so
Frenzy
gutting
8.
that he lost his PC for that, because the actual released intro
His
wasn't
intros
very
just
good.
keep on going up and up and up, and
Here's the
I mean,
intro
so
in
is
question, by the way.
And also, I want to point out,
I want to
that,
watch
like,
this.
I want to point out, like, all of his intros are just, they're getting
Oh,
so good.
that one. Yeah, that
This one?
was a good
Yes, this
very
one.
first intro. You know,
Yeah.
I've got no complaints at that. You know,
This
it's
is really
it's got
good.
everything an intro needs. All right, it's nothing
mean, like-
spectacular, but
I mean, like,
And
his-
I love how nobody liked the music, even though it was actually, in my opinion, a lot better than pretty much half of the recorded
I
rounds
agree with you.
that are now or in the future and like in the past. It's not your just usually, hey, let's go on Xkito's channel or Monster Cat and let's
Yeah,
have fun
I'd say-
XD.
Well, as I said earlier, I know this is like I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but like music can make or break an intro for me. Like, I don't really care if like the renders are nice or if like, I mean, art's pretty good.
I agree.
But like, if the music is just like awful, it's like, all right, well, I'm not gonna judge the season off that. I'll judge the intro off that. The intro, I like intros. Like, that's that's all I can say.
I mean, like, intros are something you can really engage in, and if there's something about it that you like, you're gonna remember it for a long time. Like, with your intro guessing competition, which I ended up against probably the one person who I know I can't beat, which was Max. Like, you know, if there was an intro which you remember for something specific, like, that's the thing with the music. If you're doing one based on the music, if the music was good, you're gonna remember it. Whereas if you put, say, like, take the Stanchia 2, it's the first thing that comes to my mind of being a intro. Like, does anyone remember the music for that?
Oh, I remember.
Key, it was just sort of like... Key, can you find that?
No.
The Stanchia
Yeah,
2.
I'm
I
searching
cannot
for it.
remember. I cannot remember anything at all about that intro.
It was... it was just
I'm
a
just
bit...
gonna post somebody's first and actually second episode. Let's
Okay.
go for that.
Right,
Uh,
just a general question. What's everyone's favourite intro?
Of all time,
Yes.
Nude on 10.
Fair enough.
I
Anyone
there is a
else?
season 2 intro just going in.
That's really difficult for me to answer. There's several that
Oh, somebody privated it. What a dick.
Oh.
Damn.
Okay, then let's go to no, not Brick. Actually, yeah, let's go to Brick.
If I had to
Brick,
say
there we
something,
go.
I'd say
Okay.
810 is one of my favorites.
That
but
one's really good.
especially the
Yeah.
last episode of that.
I didn't really like the last episode. I didn't feel like having a conclusion of the RR just didn't feel right.
I mean, all ours conclude at one point.
Well, no, but having like
Oh,
putting
I
like
see what you- okay, no, I
having
know
a
what I'm saying.
mini
You mean,
montage
that's
at
my
the
bad.
start of the
That's my bad.
season, it just didn't feel
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I
Also,
can't-
the fact
yeah,
that they
yeah.
removed everyone who was dead from the intro, because I just found that confusing.
Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, I do agree with you on
My
that.
favourite my favourite version of the season 10 intro was the one which had the other version of the season 6 intro, the Surrender one.
Surrender!
Because that was like a remix version, the one that was used for the season 6, and then they used the
Yeah.
original song for one episode of season 10, and that was my favourite version of that. And again, it's the music, you know, the music can make or break an RR. Anyway,
Yeah.
my favourite one is a weird one to have, and I don't think it's probably anyone else's favourite RR, and it's actually made by Yuki. It's Hilton Quiver season 6.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but
let me
Which one?
bring it up
Oh,
so that
season 6.
it's the one with the spotlights under the teams.
That one, I like that one.
It's just so basic, like with the sort of
Oh, this is
creepy-ish music, basic text. It just really worked.
Here's my favorite one, if
interesting.
anyone cares. Yeah.
To be fair, I don't really pay attention to the new Dawn. I want to have a look.
I just like it so much. Also because Bytex always is interesting.
Oh yeah, New Dawn season 10. Yeah, that was an interesting intro. I really liked how the drawings were put in.
Some of my
Yeah,
Also the text. I don't know. It sort of fit in there somehow, but it did.
Two of my favourite RR intros were unreleased ones, which was Zentian's Cata 5 intro and Brick's WMC 18 intro. If that had been released, it would have by far been my
the
favourite.
Briggs WMC 18 intro, it would have been ultra
The
OP,
greatest
like if
intro
he
of all
actually
time.
went through with it. Also, here's the Hilton Quiver season 6 intro.
Yeah, I
Oh, wait,
really...
okay, this is the moles one, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I feel like I'm the
People
only
said
one
like they
who,
were confused as who was in what team.
I
I
think that's
made
stupid, it was
extra
obvious.
sure that it would be as obvious as possible. Like I actually made like decently sized chunk of pause just between the I don't know clusters of people.
Also,
Yeah.
the team name is above
But I'm
them,
just
right?
not gonna say anything about that anymore because that would just go into a rant mode and yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
Americ, favourite intro?
I don't really know if I have a favourite intro, but one of the most memorable to me is probably the WMC season 14 intro.
Oh, was that
It's-
Wintermore's one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, that one's good too.
I mean, I know it's probably not considered a lot of people's best
Well,
or
I mean,
most favourite,
neither
but it's
is
just the one that I
Hilton
like the
Quiver
most.
6, it's just one that...
Which one?
Oh yeah,
that
people
I
didn't.
like.
People didn't really like that
Yeah, I
one.
know at the time, like, the feedback on it was actually quite negative, which I did not understand in the slightest. Anyway, do you want to move on now? Oh wait, no,
Yeah.
we're already on the new topic, never mind. I thought we'd just
Are,
veered
are
off
we
so
on the
much
topic?
that we went
Are we?
yeah, we're talking about
are we
uprising
ahead of
intro
schedule?
creators. We've literally
Oh.
only said Zentian.
Alright,
I'm
so
gonna say Ember. Throw a well, Ember, 100%.
Yeah, tick Ember tick.
Chroma. Actually, no, not talking about Chroma yet. Ignore me.
Well, sort of.
Other ones of Ember's intros. He made the first season of Mark for Death, which was one of his, which was actually his worst received intro, because like I think his first ever one was Founding Season 2. Which I think really set the tone, because considering Founding Season 1 was
Mark
given
for
such a
death
bad
in question.
rep, he added, sort of gave a real... Because an intro can give such a good first impression to around, like, take Agency 1, for example.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact that he took such a poorly received RR and gave the second season such a great intro to start it off, it really... You know, I felt that was something that was really... important, and I feel like he's given the good first impressions for so many new RRs now. You know, like Recovery, that intro has done amazingly. Chroma, you know, that got as many upvotes as the Nuzlocke intro.
Not talking about Chroma.
has. For God's sake.
Chroma, no.
But yeah, any others like uprising intro creators?
I feel like it would be kind of annoying to the guy if we didn't talk about Sonic, considering the fact that he's made like 6 amazing
Jesus
intros
Christ,
lately.
he just seems to feed them out.
If
his
you see a
arse.
new intro on the subreddit, there's a good chance it's made by him, and
Yeah, like,
Sonic
he's
or
like
makes
making,
me pretty
Ember
good.
makes every single intro.
he's gonna start
nowadays.
making
That's the thing
intros
is,
for
I
rounds
wouldn't
that don't
say-
exist.
The thing is like people we mentioned before, like Ember and Zentian, they make really good intros. I wouldn't put Sonic like on the same level as them, but he makes like pretty good intros, very like a lot. He consistently makes good intros.
I
One
guess
of-
that's
one thing I-
that's kind of like it's not like he's improving. It's more like he's consistent in a way.
Yeah, he
he
consistently
makes a lot of like he makes a lot of different styles. Like for example, you
Oh,
go
yeah,
from
like-
the Gala intro to the Satamino
Oh,
intro.
the
And the
Sledgehammer
Frenzy
intro
intro.
was brilliant. I have to hand it to my.
Weirdly enough, I
huge
wasn't
fan
like
of
a
that.
massive fan of the style of the Satamino intro, but that's
I
just me.
remember
But I
that.
still thought it was good. I like how he can develop into like so many different styles of
his-
it. Like
You know,
that,
like some people, like, take
that's
Mr.
what makes him stand out to me.
Craftinator.
The fact that he can go into so many different styles of it.
Craft is one
Very
of my favourite
original.
intro creators because his style of intro is something which I enjoy. You know, I'm a very fan like very big fan of like classic style, sort of
Simple.
like dubstep music with renders and stuff. As long as they're actually well made, I prefer those types of intros to intros with a little bit more class, I guess you could call them. So he has a very specific
it doesn't
theme.
lack class. I'd
Whereas
say.
the thing with Sonic's intros is some of them I absolutely love and some of them I absolutely hate, but that's not because they're any less well made. It's just because of the fact that because he can make so many different styles, I like some of them better than the other. It's like all of the Out of Orbit intros, with the exception of Season 3, I haven't enjoyed, but I can still appreciate how well made they are. It's just I don't particularly like the style of them. Like, I remember Max, after the intro got made for Out of Orbit 5, he was saying to me, he was like, I played an RR, and the intro for it is like absolutely out of this world. And then when that came out and he told me that was the round, I'm thinking,
Oh, out
you
of this
hyped
world,
that
like,
up a little bit more
I see
than
what you
I
did,
thought it
okay.
deserved credit for. But like, it was a brilliant. That was one where Sirius made the planets in the background, didn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah. It's just well made, but it's not at all my style. Any
Yeah, it does
others
come down to
that we
personal
should
taste.
mention?
I think I think
Well, I mean, I'd throw in Landboy since I quite liked his Desire intro and the
Back in Time.
Back in Time
Intro?
intro.
Oh,
Yeah.
did he make the Desire
XD fuck
intro?
Len boy.
Yeah, he made both of them.
Oh, I didn't realise the Desire one was his.
Well, fuck Len boy anyways. XD. No.
very
I really
true.
like the Back in Time
Stupid
intro.
name.
For an FFA round, it was very well made. Like FFA rounds are sometimes harder to do in a way, but because sometimes team seasons are more interesting. In a way, you've got to hype up the free fall a bit more, I'd say, and I think he did a really
Yeah,
good
you
job
need
of
to,
that.
like,
With the animations.
Know
and
how
such.
to present them. For example.
Yeah, present. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, my Pathfinder Season 4 intro, what I made for, Pathfinder, redundancy, I opted to do, like, for 2 people at a time, but some people actually thought it was a team of 2 because I didn't actually specify anything about the recorder round in the intro, which was...
Oh.
Actually, I forgot about it. I never... I realized that once somebody said in the Pathfinder chat that isn't there something missing? Yeah, and then I realized that. Basically what I did, I did nothing. But all I did is I changed the colors of the names so that they don't look like they are they were pretty much, contrasting colors. There was one blue and one red, and then another one was purple and yellow, but it still confused a lot of people, and that made me also a bit confused because I was pretty sure I made it, understandable.
Alright, just a random thing I'm going to throw in there, which I absolutely hate, is when a round doesn't specify what the team style is. And I think Nuzlocke is the most guilty of this. We know that Season 6 is a team of 3, but what team of 3 is it? I don't understand. They've done it for pretty much all of their seasons. I don't understand how they never say what the team
How
style
they form?
is. Yeah, Back in Time, I think, did the same thing for one of their seasons. I want to know what the team style is.
Wait a minute, are you saying they don't say in the intro random teams or which
in the
teams?
intro,
I
in the
think,
episode post, in the graphic intro, any of them, when there's just no indication as to how the teams came
I
to
think
be.
a good example of that be Desire 3, where the intro was really good, but the renders in it just had so many different people in each
There was different numbers.
in
There
each
was
section,
twos,
I guess,
threes,
but it
and
was a team of
4s.
4 season. But some sections of the intro only had 2 people or 4 or 5 people or 3 people or 4 people. So that made the team size really confusing. People were probably thinking wait, is this not to hate the intro because the intro was really
Oh,
cool,
it was
but
very
it was a
good.
bit confusing.
But I suppose at
People probably
least-
thinking when it first came out, what team is this? Is this am I watching I don't know, Allies or something? What is this?
Yeah, but I
Does
suppose
that make sense?
since at least with that, like, you know, the intro might have been a bit mysterious, but the entire game mode was based off the team stats.
Yeah.
When the actual season came out, you could see on the episode post that
Yeah,
that's
it
what
makes
it
a lot more
was,
sense. Yeah.
and you knew that Desire is a monument-based thing anyway, so I suppose you could kind of gather that's what it would be around. But like Nuzlocke 3, you know, the teams, they look quite randomized, you know. Slow
Desire
Pro,
intro.
Green GL, and Sid Garcia doesn't look like any type of wished team of 3 to me, but I suppose some of them, you know, you need to specify. Like, if you look at Chunk Loader Season 1, Jesus Christ, some of the teams, they look like they could have been chosen, and they were, like, 100% randomized. So I think sometimes, you know, they need to be specified. And I don't think, like, Nuzlocke 6 is as bad for that, as you can tell that they do look randomized, but considering my round, like, I've always liked to experiment with, like, team styles which aren't too frequently used. Like, we did a completely original team style for season 2 in Drafters, and then we did season 1, we did Sharpshooters, which hasn't been done lately. So when a round doesn't really take that much notice or even tell you what the team style is, I'm never really a huge fan of that.
Fair enough, yeah. I can understand that.
So
Personally, doesn't bother me, but
I
can
don't
see
know why
why.
that's just something that pisses me off.
like personally doesn't bother me, but I can see why it would bother some people.
Yeah. Does anybody else want to elaborate on anything intro creators? Is there anyone we've missed? Because, you know, there are so many good. Poem is somebody who I'm like upset never really did anything after Agency 1, but I know from being friends with Sonic that most of that is to do with the fact that he doesn't have time to do it. Like, I'm pretty sure he's been the supposed intro creator for a lot of seasons of Agency, but just hasn't made progress as quickly as Sonic needs him to, and I think he's ditched him on a couple of occasions on making the intro. Because I think
Agency
he gave him,
1
like,
was
a
an
month
intro
and a
that was
half.
raised quite highly, especially for season 1 at the time. If I remember
I-
correctly, like,
I
a
don't
lot of
think you-
people really like the style of it, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think you can really say for a season 1, because it was the highest upvoted season 1 RR ever, but that's based on the intro, not the round. You know, I don't think you can really judge an intro based on the fact that it was a season 1, as it can really
No,
set
that's
the
not what I
tone
meant,
for
sorry.
an RR like Chroma and Recovery, on top of the fact that they actually have concepts which are good in comparison to other season 1 RRs. The intros, you know, reflect the fact that they do have a little bit of a something else to them, you know, whereas other rounds recently haven't really had that. But we're not going to discuss that yet, because that is actually you know, one of the topics. But is there anything else we have to say before moving on to that?
Well, talking about topics, I think we are good to change topic.
Alright.
Nice segue.
Nice segue.
Alright. Sorry. Alright, season 1 recorder rounds, let's go.
They suck.
Thanks.
I wouldn't say
There's
that.
currently a post on the subreddit, which is
That's pretty
recorded
much
season
illiterate
1
all
RR
that.
hate,
I can't
and people
understand
don't
that.
like to like it. And then there's a recorded round solution,
Oh,
which has
someone
been
posted
most
that 13 minutes ago.
yeah,
Oh dear.
and
Also
peop-
on
Right.
and they go in for Discord. What Skype? What is?
Hey,
What?
Discord is great. You should try it sometime, Keith.
They don't even have
I
it for
don't like
TeamSpeak. They've got perks for Discord and Skype, and cons for Discord and Skype, but nothing
Discord
for
is
TS.
great. It's,
I like
I actually do
Discord.
think Discord's quite good for recording
Alright,
rounds, but we're not
alright.
on about Discord. We're on about season 1's.
on
I
on
mean,
the
we could discuss.
on the
I suppose that's
Pioneer
not really
season
a
1
very-
intro. I'm looking at this now. There's a comment from our good friend Chasmic that says, "How many season 1s are there?" In all caps.
Yeah, I've got quite a few of those in that comment.
You see, I know
Yeah,
like the
people
3
don't like-
regulars to this, myself, Max,
New
and
year,
Lego,
new
have
rounds,
all
what
been
can I
fairly-
say?
We've all been fairly active on commenting on the fact that there are a lot of season 1 recorder rounds. Like, if I go and look for Yeah, Pioneer Season 1, which has 89 comments.
Yeah,
Jesus
there's a
fuck.
problem in which
We've got Casmic. How many fucking Season 1s are there? I don't think he says fucking, I'm sorry, that's just my brain. Maximum 50, the gang strikes again with another stunning Season 1 recorded round.
I think the
Lego
main
Beast,
issue is-
give up. Jesus Christ, Lego.
Did I actually
Yeah,
say
you
that?
said
No, I
give
didn't.
up. Yes, you did.
Where is it? Wait a minute.
You've got 5 upvotes. It's
Oh, I
chill.
did. Oh, it says I. Oh, okay. Alright.
He doesn't
I
care.
I don't
know I
remember
put
the
that.
comment you made.
He regretted,
I-
he regretted commenting it for a second, but now he's instantly not regretting it.
And then
I
mine is
forgot.
just Jesus Christ, please stop. These are getting ridiculous.
Alright, here's
They're
the- okay,
ridiculous.
I
I'm all
wanna-
for Season 1s, but these rosters are identical. Now, I
I'm
think
gonna
that was a little
play-
bit of a harsh comment to make, because now I look at it a bit closer. I don't think Pioneer is like one of those rounds to the extent that I described it as. When you got things like Nuance and Kratos. The thing with Kratos is the concept was actually pretty good, but they just did it horribly.
They had a concept
like
and they
Kratos,
executed it awful.
Thanatos, and I'm like, oh, that's actually, where each season we're playing with different gods and goddesses, and I'm like, you know what, that's actually a really good idea. And they've gone with a Permanite FFA, and I'm thinking, you can't waste a really good concept and then just, there's got to be effort
Yeah,
in
I
the actual
think
game
people
mode.
also like
Also,
to
it's a bit
use
similar to Folk
smart
Tales, if you
words
ask
to feel
me.
smart about themselves.
Yeah, people buy dictionaries to create recorder rounds at this point.
Yeah, it's stupid. Like Pioneer,
Like,
I bet
I
they
do
never
remember
even
this
heard
discussion.
of the word beforehand.
I remember this discussion, like, initially, like, the first time I remember, like, the discussion of stupid RA names really kicked off. It kicked off initially when Ameliorate was...
Ameliorate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
People
I
still
think
like
I
it.
was the
Like
one who
the
actually called them out on it the first. I think I did a good one there.
But I don't think
Basically
Grudge-Match
started
is
just-
an overly good name. Like I said at the time when Grudge-Match came out, you're like, fantastic round, really good idea and stuff, but I really can't take this name seriously. And as much as it's grown on me now, I still do take the impression that, but I suppose good RR names have really all been taken. Like, I suppose you get words which don't really make sense, but then when you got the concept, it's like Vanguard. Obviously that's the name of a game, but it's still a weird thing to call it, whereas Ameliorate is just a bit...
Well, I mean,
Odd.
Nuzlocke is the name of a Pokemon.
Yeah,
it's
but
not the-
that makes
I didn't
sense.
realise that at the time because I have no knowledge of Pokemon at all.
Like, yeah, I think the people who don't know Pokemon, yeah, they don't know what
They don't,
Nuzlocke is, yeah, but...
What is a Nuzlocke?
If a Pokemon dies,
do you want me
it's
to
dead.
actually go into the details
Yeah,
of this, or do you want to talk
go
about the
ahead.
discussion?
If, we,
God.
if
Go
we're going to talk
ahead.
about Nuzlocke, then we're going to have to be prepared for a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's,
but
that's
I
an
wanna point
entire
It's
entire
looking like
topic.
that anyway, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I want to point out that that the Pioneer Season 1 intro, like you said, has 89 comments, right?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me count. The past 4 community posts don't even total that.
Yeah.
But I suppose the
Like-
community post people can just talk about over Twitter, whereas when there's new RR and people actually have something to comment on it,
Yeah, it's
they're going to
true.
comment on something relevant. I think Nuance is probably also because the name is just awful. They don't know
What do
the
you-
concept. I can't say the name properly. And, like I
Yeah, hello,
I
everyone,
don't
welcome to
actually
Nuance.
like just hating on RRs, but when a round just has nothing about it which sets it apart, I'm not overly
Yeah.
fond of the
That's,
idea.
for me, that's the major issue
Is
with, like, in
effort.
terms of, like, with this, like, Season 1 now. It's, like, to me, they just start blending together. Like,
They do.
I don't
They're
recall,
the same
like...
RR.
Yeah, there was the top comment, I think, even on the where is that stupid intro?
I'm gonna find
Can't
the last
find it
one to
anymore.
come out, and I made
Oh,
a
yeah, there it
comment
is.
on it.
Yeah, and then there is no, not okay. Maximum 50 stand said the gang strikes again for another stunning Season 1 recorded round, and the worst thing is he is not wrong.
No, not by any means.
Because there is so much recycling going on, like even Sweden could not hold up with that. Like it's insane. Like, just is it really hard to just not make a recorded round then if you can't
Yeah.
get
I mean,
you
I
know,
made a
your
comment on one of them that came out
people,
saying
yeah.
something like, Jesus Christ, if these rounds all merged into one, they'd serve as season number contention for WMC or something like that. Because there's just so many of them making the same RR over and over again that it's getting quite ridiculous. The things like Walking the Plains, funnily enough, that's one of the ones which I think is actually, like, not that bad. Like, I'm not watching it, but...
Yeah, but you don't have to watch it. Like,
It's got
still,
a decent idea.
Like, the roster is somewhat original.
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
Like...
I mean, Izuna is the one which, if Izuna's in it, you kind of know it's going to be because he's in literally all of them.
Like, I don't feel afraid to call them out because it's not necessarily saying, "Oh, I'm calling you out for this bullshit." It's just you're in a lot of RRs. It's not like something completely negative. But for me, it's if I see like Izuna and Ice Shard, I get kind of hesitant.
Yeah.
I've seen both of their names a hell
Whereas
of a
if you
lot.
look at this, like, you know, Big Z60, he's not in that many. Major DH, he really isn't. Golden is in a couple. The 22...
Well,
you know, like, it's
I mean,
not an
when I see
exciting
Big Z in
roster,
general, I cringe.
but it's not bad. I don't really get, like, the concept, though. It's original, but I don't really understand it. Like, what is this Lorwyn Shadow Moor? I don't understand what that is, but...
Oh, well, if you don't understand what anything is, just go look at the latest Nuzlocke. Fucking bullshit what that is, honestly.
Like, I made a twit longer about, like, the RR situation this morning, since I realised I'm sort of somebody who actively comments on the fact that there are too many RRs, and, you know, I know the group involved is getting a bit annoyed by that, so I made a post sort of explaining it, and, like, one person replied to it, who I'm not going to name, but I'm sure they know who they are, said, like, basically just summed up my entire thing based on the first two lines, and I'm like, did you just ignore everything about my post? And then they were like, you know, oh, it was too long to read, but I still don't understand it. So you didn't read the entire thing and you're complaining that you don't understand what I'm talking about. Like,
yeah, it's like,
so if you're gonna fight back, make the effort to understand what it is you're arguing against.
Yeah, like if you read a fucking book and you only read the first chapter, it's not the author's fault you didn't understand.
See, that was the exact
You only
example
read
I
one-
made in my head. It's like, did you enjoy that book? It's like, no, it was awful because like the first page didn't have any action. And then you're like, well, I didn't read the book, but I still don't understand.
But I think it was pretty good. That's basically how half the school assigned books go, basically, you know? You read the first maybe chapter if you're fast in school, like,
It's
together
like
with
this
your
is
class,
why we
and
get
then
so
the
off
teacher
topic.
says, like, okay, over the course of, like, next 2-3 weeks, please read it. And obviously nobody does. And when those 2 weeks are over, the teacher asks, well, how did you find the book? And everybody just nicks with their head, it was okay. Because nobody has read it, like, at all. And there's maybe this 1 or 2 nerds who will just, I don't know, had nothing better to do. Maybe they are really hardcore into school or whatever. And then they like go into full detail how shit that one book was, and it's like, and everyone's just like, okay, yeah, that could have happened. Also, that is a pretty true story, so yeah.
Right,
Gotta
well,
love
thank
those season 1
you.
recorded words.
So
Can you read
yeah,
that?
Oh god.
Can I have some fries with that?
right. Well, since it's sort of related to it anyway, Chroma. I decided to give it its own section because I think now, especially now episode 1's been released about an hour ago, it's easier to talk about. What do people think of it?
I don't know who anyone in the round is.
Really?
Except for Ember and Caesar Octavius, and wait, let me look at the roster again.
Jorge.
Hold on, let's watch the intro again.
Okay, I know who Caesar, Ember, Glenn, Leon, Swedish, Phineas. Okay, I know more than just those two.
I know everyone in that.
I know Luke Gregory and did I say Frostfire? Other ones I really don't know or I've never heard of. Well,
Actually,
just forget what I just said.
played
Actually, I was
the
like half
initial
that roster.
attempt of Chroma.
Yeah,
But it
I'm
was
aware.
like several months ago.
Know
Oh,
most of the people here.
Because the organizer Spood asked me to join EuroLeague, and I said it's a one-time RR, and then he said, "Oh, I'm also starting and record around," and messaged me the roster of it. And I was like, "Hey, that actually looks pretty good." Back at the time, it had people like Jep, Gabe, I don't know, other people.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
let's read
I really
Jens,
like the concept of it,
Januski.
but like I was only in there. I don't know. After the first attempt, I wasn't really a massive fan just because I didn't really know anyone in the roster. But like actually seeing it actually get released, it makes me happy because I do like the concept of it. It's a good concept, and then you look at like some of the other season ones that are like constantly coming out these days, and I don't know. This one actually seems to people are putting effort into the idea of it, if that makes sense.
I'm a bit confused by its by the theme of the round, because okay, I understand Chroma is based off of colors. That's a cool idea, but I'm not 100% sure why fast despawn and permaday are associated.
Alright, well,
with the colour
permaday,
white.
its color is light, so it's like white
This
is like
season we're doing
associated with
blue.
lightness.
The entire map is an ocean.
Yeah, okay.
Basically.
I think it's
Permaday-
quite.
Is that where they're going with
Permaday
that?
makes,
Like, I don't
Permaday makes a bit of sense. Fast despawn. I don't understand why fast
Alright.
despawn. Items despawn after 30 seconds.
Because
Yeah,
the
I don't
light
really
is
understand
faster than
that.
sound.
I think that might actually be what it is.
I don't know. It's
I mean, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on, but I think that was not
What?
intended to be there, and they just went with it.
what?
Also-
I really don't think that anyone would just put that there. Just there.
The
I
fact
don't
is-
see that. If it were like a competitive roster, like I would imagine that,
That is
being
quite
in a
competitive.
Grudge-Match. Like, oh, you see, you just. I mean, since everyone goes for the sword rush anyways, but if somebody has a bow fight, they would need to close in if they wanted the people's stuff, you know?
Mm.
But I don't see this as a super competitive round. I think that was just some
I mean,
public game remnant and everybody forgot about it or something.
I mean,
and nobody
Caesar's
cared
very
about
good,
it.
Ember's very good, Jorge's very good, Glenn's very good.
Yeah,
Clegg
the
is an
people
absolute
are.
god.
There are good people.
Speed,
I'm not
Phineas.
saying that there aren't, but
Swedish, Frost, like there's some really competitive European players in there, sort of addiction.
top
Esque
7
people.
UXD. But I'm just gonna stay with my tinfoil hat and say that that was just forgotten.
What do people like think on like the strength of a concept? Because like MFD, okay, it has a concept, but like it's very loose. Like we can do a lot with it. Whereas I think this, I feel like Chroma, they might struggle down the line because you know a lot of these game modes that go with a very cool concept are quite weakly related to the concept itself, and I think they might
I mean,
struggle to.
They're gonna run out of
replicate
colors
that.
eventually.
Well, yeah, but
Welcome
out
to
of
season
orbit is going to
10.
run out of planets eventually. You know.
Welcome to season 10 of Chroma. This season we're
Procedurally,
doing Aquamarine.
procedurally generated
Welcome to
recorded
season
rounds.
25 of Chrome. This is we're doing Midnight Black.
We've
No,
already
but we're out
done
of-
Night Black.
But for out of orbit, you can do more than just planets. Because I don't know if we know, but like in space, there's also other things. Like,
Shut
like-
up.
Meteors.
What?
There. Space, there are
Meteors,
other
it's
things.
voidscape.
I've
like
also
the
been told that
sun-
space is rather
the
large,
sun-
so-
Don't forget.
Yeah, I've
If
heard
I-
that too, Mary.
If I told Grant that he could do a season in the sun, he'd be like, you can't walk in the sun and kill me.
When you're
I mean,
walking
you
on
can't
the
walk
sun.
on any of the gas giant planets, so fuck
Alright,
you.
well,
and they've
don't
already
tell me
used the
that.
4 in. Well, no, because for Jupiter they did like the 4 moons,
The moon,
didn't
oh, yeah,
they?
they did the moon.
What the hell did they do for Uranus? I'm not being funny. I don't actually remember. Shut up.
Oh, you.
Buddy was moved out
I'm
of your
not
channel.
fucking having that.
Error.
That's Kanaka from the podcast, guys.
User in your channel is
Anyway.
Sorry.
Does anyone know what they did? Like how they made it work? 'Cause you can't walk on Uranus, it's a gas giant.
Yeah, just did another
Sake,
Hey,
I'm
Bad
done
Bad,
with
Bad
this.
Bad, Bad Bad, here's a tip. Uranus.
Uranus. What did they do for it? No one?
It was.
I don't follow.
Cal,
I'm
you
not
were in
upset.
it for God's sake.
yeah,
I wanted out
it
of
was a
orbit.
moon.
It was the moon.
Yeah, it was. It was the moon Miranda, which was.
Oh, I love Miranda.
It's a good show.
The moon or like the what?
No,
The-
Or is it
one
the
of
person?
Uranus's moons.
Secret crush?
Oddly enough, other planets have moons. Shock horror.
Mars
Not
has,
just
Mars
an
has
Earth
2
thing.
moons.
Uh,
Jupiter has like 64.
Yeah,
A full stack of moons.
that's like 16 seasons right there. We just do Jupiter, the round.
Oh yeah, you just
yeah,
do every
this
moon
time we're
of
playing
June.
on
So welcome,
Titan.
right, welcome to season 65. We finally run out of moons.
We're now actually on the outer surface. We all die.
Instantly.
Yeah, that can just do like a black hole, like sucking up everyone. I don't know. That could work.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing about concept is, you kind of if you're gonna have like I can understand rounds that don't have concepts as long as they actually do like have like good seasons and good game modes and stuff. But if you're gonna do a concept, you gotta do it well. You can't half-ass it because that's your entire round, which you've now just half-assed. You can't salvage that. So, unfortunately, to call them out, something like Conception, where the concept was
concepts. Jesus
bit-
Christ.
Wow, who would have come up?
It's a bit.
with that?
It's really clutching. It's really clutching at the concept straw.
Yeah, but
'Cause, like,
Kingsley
if you-
said
if-
that as a joke. Said like
if
you
you
should
could-
make the concepts, and Country was like, "That's a good idea."
Because the thing is, like, if you say your round has a concept, people will think, "Oh, see, it's a cool concept." If your concept is literally concept, it's not a good.
Hello,
look.
and welcome to my recorded round, where the theme is recorded rounds.
Yo, dog, I heard you like recorded round, so we put a recorded round in your recorded
Oh,
round, so
no,
you can
please
record it round
don't.
while you recorded round.
Please don't. Is Joey still with us?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay. Okay, we good.
right. Do you want to move on?
I'm more concerned if America's still with us.
Yes, I'm still here.
Well, you had your mic muted. At least America stuck it out with us, you know. Okay, the future of All Stars. Since
There
as much
is
as
no
Joe, in
future.
his modest opinion, doesn't like it, people do
Wait,
regard
what?
Pathfinder.
I like All Stars.
No. I'm saying, in your modest opinion, you don't see Pathfinder as potential for the next season of All Stars.
I think it.
When a lot of
think it
people
could, but
keep saying
I
it.
don't want to seem like.
No, I understand.
Give it
that.
to me
I
now.
don't want to. I don't want to say like, oh yeah, we're definitely going to be in the next All Stars. Just see us there. Yeah. I don't want to be.
I just
Yeah.
don't.
I don't want to be
I don't-
like cocky about it because like I'm just gonna let it happen. Like if we get invited, that's cool. I'll gladly play. But if we don't, that's perfectly fine.
I don't see
Yeah.
there being another All Star season to be invited to.
Well, no. Here's the thing. I think All Stars 4 will probably happen because it's just kind of been the thing. It's just I think it will start to be
In
because I think
decline.
it will start to be the decline because like
Gonna
I feel
start
like
to become
season,
rising stars.
I feel like season 3 was definitely the peak in terms
Yeah.
of popularity and the reception.
Season
I think-
1 was the peak. What do you?
No.
Well, no, I think
Season
one,
2
people-
was awful.
Season 1 was like, hey, this is pretty cool. Then it started, and season 2, of course, was the dip. But I think season 3, people like it's probably the best received it'll ever be. And season
Yeah.
4 will come out. Even if season 4 is good, I feel like people will probably drift away from the All Stars idea.
No, because season 4, you're not gonna have AP. You're not gonna have risk and reward. I'm not even. You're not gonna have cynical. I don't know what's happening with.
That's
You're
not bad
definitely
for
not
anyone.
gonna have AP and Cynical. I don't know about R&R, even though I'm in it. But
I don't.
It's
think R&R will be
possible,
back.
but I mean,
Well,
I don't know. I don't know what
Dan's
the
won't
plans are.
participate. Am I right in saying that?
I think
Mm.
Burning once it's. I don't know what I'm allowed to say or anything, but I think Risk and Reward might still be in All Stars 4, but I don't think Dan's or Kowalski will be in it. Burning maybe, but Dan's and Kowalski probably won't be in it.
Yeah, I know Dan's isn't really the biggest because he hosted it. He wasn't
Yeah,
around
yeah.
to
So
play
he
it.
could have played, but he just clearly didn't want to.
Yeah, and
Which
I
is
think
fine. I mean, you're never forced to play any round.
with All Stars being at its peak for season 3 and having season 2 been awful, I feel like he might have wanted R&R to participate, just to give it another shot. But I feel like now the round is gonna definitely, start to die off. I don't think he's gonna be too keen on allowing R&R to keep playing. But obviously, I don't know that, and if you don't even know that, I suppose.
I mean, I just don't know what I'm allowed to say, really. So I just won't say anything. But like, in terms of rounds that I think like other rounds that will probably still be there, I'm sure WMC will still be there.
Oh yeah.
TT might still be there.
Yeah, I don't
but,
see
TT
Fairy
probably
like
still will be.
just stopping
Yeah, I
doing
can't see
this.
They'll be the
stopping.
last RR on the subreddit.
I can't
Yeah,
see
I
Frost
think-
stopping either.
I think WMC is the first and the last, first to come and
Yeah.
last to go. Like
I don't know, man. Nuance
If it comes
just
down
starts.
to
They have
just like
plenty
the
of
last
time.
2 rounds, like Pathfinder and WMC, I will stand down. Just make WMC the last one. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like,
I mean, basically that's what, well, sort of happened to, well, we didn't really start, but the draft crafters, like,
Oh.
we still were the last record round, which did like on a, like an SMP style, like we were an SMP and then we did it, like, I think only the last season was not kind of in the, yeah, with the background that we had. But other than that, we were like mind crack, like mind crack, Minecraft mind crack, tongue twisters. But yeah, I don't think they just
are there any rounds
they're
you guys
not
would
they're
like
not
to see
nowhere
in the
to
next
go.
All-Stars,
Like
or-
they are just gonna stay or they will die when the subreddit dies.
I think it's got to be Frenzy, really. You know, I think they were on the tables for the last one, and I think it might have, you know, been between them and Addiction, is what I heard. It's the same with, I think, Evolution were meant to be in season 2,
You
but it
are
was between
actually
them
correct.
and someone else. So I think, you know, I think Frenzy will probably end up being in there as the round which just missed out on the last occasion. I think Kata is growing rapidly in popularity, and by next August time...
It must really suck to, like, get invited to Rising Stars and then turn down the invite because you think you're going to be in All Stars, and then you're not in All Stars.
All right.
Who's done
Kazmik.
that?
All right, Kazmik. I see what you're doing.
Oh,
Let's-
A certain two people.
I know
Joey-
exactly what this is referring
Joey
to,
and
I
Lego
think.
Beast did that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Kazmik, don't.
to be fair, it's a
do this
valid
to me.
thing to say.
It is. I mean,
I'm not necessarily. I'm not
Considering
saying,
how
I'm not
bad
saying,
Rising Stars
hi.
ended up being...
I mean, I'm still kind of happy that we didn't play Rising Stars, if I'm being honest.
Really?
I'm
Why would you say that?
Because I didn't
I'm not
really want to
exact-
be part of all that stuff that happened.
Yeah, I know, I was being sarcastic, I completely
saying
understand.
like, I wasn't saying like, haha, you didn't get to play any. But I mean, like, it must suck. Like if you turn, it's like, oh no, we don't want to play Rising Stars because I think we might be in All Stars, and then it's.
I mean,
that
Kingsy
offer's
didn't
passed
want
and
to
then-
play because he thought Folktales would be an all-star.
Yeah.
Which
no,
Kak
fuck
actually said for
Folktales.
some strange reason. When they was like, there was a thread, it's like, what rounds do you think will be in there? And Kak brought up Folktales. Now, I don't know how much he knows about Rising Stars, but I don't see that happening for some odd reason. Because, you know, Folktales, we never really recovered from the hit of Rising Stars, sadly. And
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I got 16 upvotes on one of my comments about Season 1 RRs, alright.
Alright, brag about it.
It wasn't... okay, I don't even realise why. Anyway, but I don't really know. Pathfinder, Frenzy, and Kata are really the only three that scream out at me. People say Ameliorite, but I don't think it's that special.
Yeah,
You only have
I'm
to
the
be-
same with that.
You only have to be in the
lot of-
organizer doc to tell that they're really not very stable. You know, they change organizers left, right, and center. I
agree with you because like a lot of people seem to talk about Amelia White being in All Stars, but I just I enjoy watching it, but I just don't see it happening yet. I don't want
No.
to sound rude when I say it, though. That's the thing. That's also why I'm trying not to say as much anymore, because I feel like everything I say is just being really rude or controversial.
But people were talking about it for this season when they'd only had 3 seasons, which I suppose Desire had only had 4. I think
Yeah.
Desire, out of all the rounds, out of the 5 rounds which got added for this season of
All
All-Stars, I think Desire were the ones which were the most edgy, because there's such a big gap between season 1 and 2.
Yeah,
Tommy
like, most
didn't really
people
have
dis-
much.
It's
Oh, this
and
was
when I
just-
made the when I made the timeline, the RR timeline sheet, Desire is the only one that stops and then starts again. Like every other round has had at least, I mean, as far as I'm aware, has at least existed throughout from the
Dormantly.
start to the finish. Desire actually properly died, and then came back again.
Yeah.
Actually,
feel-
I would
like,
I would
I'm not
maybe
gonna say-
argue that. Oh my god, Draft Crafters would be one of them since we had like a 6-month pause in between. But I don't know. I mean, we had a chat and we did like odd thing, but I don't
with the
think
other
that you could
rounds,
put.
Out of orbit, it had grown so rapidly, it deserved to be there on every level. Evolution and
definitely.
addiction, you felt, it's about time. What was the other one? Nuzlocke. Well, obviously, there was no doubt that Nuzlocke was going to be in there.
Yeah, the
Desire,
Pokemon
you
Circle
didn't
Jerk is
see-
way too hard.
You didn't see it being any other round, but did it really deserve
I
to
didn't
be in
think
there
it-
to
I
the
didn't think-
extent the others did?
I didn't think
No.
addiction was going to be in
It's-
there.
I thought
It
addiction
was like
was gonna
for
be in
me,
there.
the ones that I knew, like ones I was like 100% were like, okay, these have got to be in it. Where
Yeah.
Out of Orbit, Addiction,
And Nuzlocke.
Evolution, and Nuzlocke. Those are the ones for me. The
Yeah,
last
I
one for
agree
me
with
was
you.
my last one was a throw up between Frenzy and
Frenzy.
Desire.
Yeah, I agree with you. I
No,
started to
I-
edge towards Desire towards the end, which I don't really understand why, because Frenzy's way more stable and it's had way more seasons. But Desire just seemed like it fit in All Stars way more. But I
Desire
suppose Heroes
had-
in Battle for
Desire
season
had
2.
the people. Desire had the people.
Yeah. I suppose that's when you can talk about sort of, RR bias. It doesn't matter how many seasons, rounds with more popular people, have it much easier, which is why I think the story of Out of Orbit is so special. Because if you watch the season 1 intro, you don't really know who anybody in there
Yeah, season one
is.
and both season 1 and 2
were just
received.
a bit,
Yeah, like,
Were
who the
received
fuck
very
is
middling.
Chesnick?
and then
I played season
Dida
3
showed up in
Oh,
season
sorry.
2, and that was about the first sort of notable person to be in there.
Especially when you think that the first significant memory that comes from Out of Orbit being fully released was the fact that one of the members went to 0-0, built a sky base, and then committed suicide in episode 2. That's the first memory that exists of the round, being
Yeah.
publicly released.
Season
Right.
3, it started to pick up popularity, and then when
Hmm.
Frost showed up in season 4, it sort of just got better.
I was
and
at
better
the
from
beginning.
there.
At the beginning, I was honestly a little apprehensive about Frost being in it because, he fits the theme of the round
Yes.
stupidly well. But I was worried that the roster would be a bit too unusual for him. But honestly, after seeing him talk to the group and stuff and the seasons and stuff, he doesn't fit. He doesn't fit that bad, honestly. And he actually does have
Yeah,
Dude,
he's
like-
the perfect person for that recorded round.
yeah.
But he also was in Discovery without really knowing anyone in there.
Mhm.
Because his original team for Discovery Season 1 was him, JJL, and Incipiens. But Incipiens couldn't make it, so Dosh ended up playing. But when you
what a surprise! Incipients couldn't make it.
I know. But then, you look at him in that, and you thought that was really the only notable thing you could say about Discovery, and then it sort of picked up from there.
They had
And alright,
Frost.
it was never the most well-received recorded round, but Frost kind of, it would have died, but way before without Frost. He had lots of influence in there. I know that from having been in it. Joey knows that. So, I think Frost is, a lot of rounds start off with just rounds full of really popular people, and they're naturally going to have it more easy because those are the people who are more entertaining to watch. Those sorts
I
of
wouldn't
people
even-
don't
There's
really
a
make
reason. There's a
recorded
reason
rounds.
there's a reason they're more
effortless.
popular.
Yeah. And so rounds with, sort of less popular people are always going to have it harder to get off the ground. And I think, Frenzy never really started off as a round with, huge well-known people.
What about me?
Obviously, and you... Snuggles!
Oh,
Snuggle! It was just Snuggles!
Whoa! Infinite Turbine.
Sorry, and Infinite.
Pat 44 Pat, come on.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna say, Frenzy has probably the weirdest season 1 ever. Because it's
There was no PvP until Meetup!
It was meetup
What is that
frenzy.
shit?
it was such. It was.
Oh,
I'm not saying.
PvP before meetup.
I'm not saying it was bad, but I'm saying it was just so weird.
It
I
was
was the
weird.
only person to die before meetup. I got in episode 3.
You're awful.
I'm the worst. And I died first Mr. Tamada yesterday. Oh my god.
Nice.
Anyway. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. What was our topic? We're talking about All Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about All Stars.
Yeah.
What do
briefly.
people think about well, I don't know. Sorry, I was gonna bring up a comment, then I've completely lost the plot.
Oh, I thought we had something else on the horizon there. Vanguard.
No, we really don't. Thankfully, you don't have to listen to me ramble.
Let's just talk about Vanguard, because I like Vanguard. It's interesting.
You just like the name, don't you?
I don't know. Let's just talk about something completely different. Yeah.
Well,
Vanguard.
this isn't right. Vanguard. So
I actually really like Vanguard, though. To be honest.
yeah, because the group, they haven't really. My only bad experience with Vanguard is a sort of, on a higher up level, which isn't something I really talk about publicly, was the fact that many people left both Marked for Death and Quest for Victory because somebody, who I'm not going to name, in Vanguard made a comment about how Vanguard was the superior Helio round, and they didn't want people from those rounds to be in there, and that is why people like Tuxedo Penguin and that left the round. I think Do You Minecraft is probably the only person who is still in MFD as a result of that happening. Now, I really like Vanguard. Like, it's an original idea, and the roster's very cool. I mean, I don't know what Vanguard is, like the actual game. So, has anybody played it?
No.
I don't even know what it is.
No, I'd never heard of it, to be honest. Clearly, Jamie and Osha like it, though.
I mean, there's obviously going to be someone somewhere playing some obscure game.
Yeah, but you could make a, you can make a round based on any game, really. I suppose that's sort of a very good thing to target. As RR concepts just based on things become harder to come up. Concepts based on games is actually not a bad arcade. It's actually not a bad idea.
It died like after the first season, didn't it?
Episode.
It was just weird because
Minecraft
rather. For Mare just showed up. Like, what was that about?
My favorite comments were stuff like people like on the post saying, "Oh, it's weird. They got Minecraft for Mares in this," and then people were like, "Dude, Engal has like more subs than him. Why are you not surprised about like someone like Engal being in a round?" And people were like, "Wait, holy shit, he does."
Also, when people out that Fukano had like 300k subs.
Like when Bashaverse showed up in bloody
That wasn't so well received.
That was amazing. What was that? He was on a
It's
team
Cinema.
with like Lethal and that. No, it wasn't Cinema.
No, it was Curdy, Sugar, and someone.
I think it was Curdy, Sugar, and Lethal.
No,
It wasn't
Shadow
lethal.
Apples.
No, it was
Oh
Shadow
yeah.
Apples.
What was that? What was that round called? Unity.
Unity, the union of the.
Oh, the Unity,
groups.
yes,
the
of
union,
course.
the three, the ununitable communities. Yeah,
No, the
great,
union
good
of the
plan.
communities by making them fight out.
All of like those, like, episodes in series 2 had like negative karma.
Yeah. I did.
Yeah, but I think that was due to Bill. Well, actually, no, that was Unity. That was just because people hate Unity for some reason.
I didn't ever
It was-
like.
I remember. Yeah, I do. I remember hearing beforehand, like before Unity was season 2 was released. I knew about the Basher thing, and I was like, "Holy fuck, the subreddit is gonna go mental." it was like it was so weird. It's like, yeah, I kind of played an RR earlier, and they kind of got Basher. And like, it's like, what?
Oh, did Grant
I
say
think
this?
it was also
yeah.
because Curdy got like he won like some weird thing where he could just like play with Basher,
Yeah.
and so they played. It was like purely just
Looking
like
back,
some prize.
looking back, some of the people who represented Reddit in that round, like Deck the Elite, who's now a huge Bad Lion player, X-Hockey.
Yeah, like half the
like Tyler's, like most of them just like
they
would
were Bad Lion
would
players.
represent Bad Lion better now. X-Hockey was Twit, wasn't he? Oh no, he wasn't. Curdy. What does Curdy do now? Is he still around?
Freak out about
Curdy?
Huawei being back.
Oh
yeah.
mate, that video is amazing. Oh, I love that.
Huawei,
that
check
is-
Huawei.
Huawei.
Everybody's and their
Alright,
mother is just
alright,
going
wait a
mental
minute.
about that.
Okay, we're not going from All Stars to Huawei. I refuse to do that. I'm sorry.
That's a good. Okay, yeah.
Either end the topic or switch it. We're not talking about
Personally,
goddamn Huawei.
Personally, I'd like to see the return of GGMC.
Mate, they were in they were added to All Stars 2 when they were dead, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were just in there for memory's
Good.
sake. Okay.
Yeah, but I think like most of the people that are in GGMC, they are either A, dead, B, too old to play games, or C, just playing other games.
No such thing as too old to play games. I'm not even gonna like start on that.
Yes, I know that, but that's just how they usually go, because like most of the people like only remember Gilzor for some reason, but is he alive? What is he doing? Is he like shitposting for money? Is he like
I've seen him tweet a few times. That's about it.
like he's like those people, they just disappeared. Like they slowly but surely they just died off, I think. That's how I see it, how they just went to not being a thing.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is getting on a bit, so before we end this off, Joe, or anyone here who's a guest from Pathfinder, talk about Pathfinder, go.
Recorded round.
Has
like,
people in it.
People
I
want
make
to
it
know.
Do they really want to
Yes,
know?
they do. That's the idea of having round guest, is I want to hear, you know... Like, what's it been like
what
to
do you want
organise
to
it?
know?
How did
Take
it
us on
start?
the, take us
Things
on the
like
podcast.
that.
on a podcast.
No, I can talk about how it started. So before Pathfinder was created, a few months before it was created, I this kind of going a bit off topic. I reached 300 subscribers, so I wanted to do something. Special. I wanted to organize something, so I organized this thing called the Sonic War, which was an 8-player free-for-all game, which was a lot of fun to do. And after that, a few months later, I was talking to Sid, and I was like, you know, I really enjoyed organizing that, and I want to organize something else, but I want to make it more permanent, I guess. That's when I was thinking about organizing a recording round, but this is around the start of when Season 1 started to come out, and people were starting to get a little bit about the amount of rounds that were coming out. So, and then I talked to him, and Sid kind of basically reassured me about the idea. So then I started thinking about ideas. Fun fact: the name Pathfinder, I didn't come up with it. That was Sid. So praise Sid.
Because obviously because
praise Sid for the name. But after that, I kind of just I wanted the original-ish roster, and that was like because I knew that was one thing that people didn't like about some of the seasons, that some of the rosters were getting a bit unoriginal, so I wanted to get some original players. That's why I thought, okay, who isn't in many recordings who I'm friends with? So I thought like Weary, Stolaz, Limit, Goodgar,
Kinako XD.
Kinako, yes, of course. Quill, that was Quill's first round. Max, that was like Max. There was a lot. Pathfinder was a lot of people's first rounds if you think about it. Like it was Limit second, I think. Good goes first, and a bunch of other people. But like that's what I wanted. I wanted like an original roster with an original-ish scenario, which I will admit sometimes has gone off a bit, like with originality. But hopefully, trying to put that back in the next few seasons. But
so expect kicks, people.
I mean, I mean, you bred one of the biggest RR whores of all times, maximum 50.
And Quill. No,
and,
we're just
oh
kidding.
god,
We love you, Quill.
Quill's kind of taken a step back.
Yeah, he
like,
has.
When he first joined Pathfinder and stuff, like, everyone loved him so much. They're like, right,
And
we need to get this guy
actually.
in our
Let's talk about Emeric
Oh,
as
yeah,
well.
that's a good point, actually.
Emeric, who no one knew existed. I took a massive chance adding him, and now everyone wants him in in the recorded round.
Actually, and Country, except she just plays absolutely anything. Like, I remember on your TS and stuff, like, at the start of 2016 and stuff, like, she refused to play RRs, and then she showed up in Pathfinder 3, and then, like, alright, maximum 50
User
is
in your
joined.
channel.
Hey,
Hello.
welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast.
Sorry that I was unavailable for the first portion.
You mean the
But-
first 2 hours?
Don't worry, you're like
Yeah.
an hour late.
It's it's okay. I'm here now, so it must count for something, right?
The minor
What's-
participation
Right.
award.
Let's go through all of the topics again
Right,
with
Max.
Max here.
Yeah, I'll just spit fire
No,
some
let's
quick
do- we'll
opinions
do
in one
the
sentence
speed
on
round.
them.
Right, Season 1 RRs, go Max.
What specifically about them?
Okay,
thing.
good. Okay, good. Next one.
Kratos.
Basically, I think one thing that I see people say
Wait,
that a
when
lot.
did Max get here?
Hi.
Like, what are you doing?
One thing that I see people say a lot about Season 1 Recorded Rounds is mostly comes from the creators or people, the participants of them.
What the?
Is that they they put effort into it, and then nobody likes it when it gets released, and it just gets hate and hate and hate. But what I say is you can direct yourselves to the Season 1s that have recently gotten a lot of good attention because they have appealing aspects such as an entertaining roster, good intro, good game modes, etc. But if you just kind of slap together an intro in like Windows Movie Maker in like 30 minutes, and you get like 5 friends on a server and play like an FFA Assassins, you're not going to get people that are going to be excited for the round. You have to actually like really think about it and put time and effort into it, and it definitely shows if you do.
I think I heard one breath out of all that.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, next question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, well, hold on a minute. We're not. Are we
Going back through everything with
I'm
Max.
not doing that.
No, it's fine.
Alright, Max, you've
Yeah.
got a lot to say. Talk about Pathfinder, go.
Whoa,
Oh,
Joe's done his bit.
oh god.
Specifics.
Come on,
I
Max,
need.
lay all the dirt on me. I can take it.
Roast
Well,
me.
to start, Pathfinder was the first like official Reddit round that I joined. I'm not gonna count Ambient Season 1 because that
Nope,
was not
no,
one
you
that.
have to. It
In
was
that
a Reddit
case,
round. It
dude.
was a round on the Reddit, and you cannot live that.
in that case, second, but was the first one that I consider to be of quality. And
Whoa.
I was
It's better.
Dude,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
hate ambience, dude.
Longer was an answer.
sorry, sorry, XXX
Don't hate the
Maximus
player.
MC, who I'm sure is watching this video right now to every word I'm saying.
Why do you enter our
But-
index?
It was the first round I joined, and I was invited pretty early on. And honestly, I wasn't really sure what to think of it at first because I had barely talked to anybody in it. I remember at the time when I was added, the only people I had teamed with were like Joey, Goodga, and like Quill. I had never talked to anybody else in there at the time, so I was a bit surprised to have been added. But once I played like the seasons, I actually got to know the group a lot better. It became a ton of fun for me. Which that plus the nostalgia of it being like my first kind of big round, pretty much. Ranks it up to be one of my favorite rounds I'm in at the moment.
Yeah, like, that's one other thing I could talk about with the Pathfinder roster, the fact that it started off with like people who didn't really know each other as well. Like for example, like the Season 1 teams. Like you've got a team of Firefox, Wheelie,
Oh,
and
that
Goodga.
was
Like
horrible.
when are you gonna get that?
Yeah.
So it's like it was I basically took a bunch of people from like different communities, some of which you had never played rounds before even. But like now it's what five seasons in, and we're kind of like basically a community at this point.
Yeah.
Like
Also, something
everyone mostly knows each other really well.
something of note is that my first time ever talking to Brownage was Pathfinder 1, and he's now one of my best friends. So that was
That was
something
your
that
first time?
it was my first time ever talking to him was Pathfinder 1. I was randomized on a team with him because we checked the teams and I was like, I'm with 18Qs and Brownage HT. Who are these people? Well, I mean I never talked to him before. And then Brownage messaged me like he said he said we should team a few times before Pathfinder so it's not super awkward. So we teamed like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, so
And
the
it was
teams
sick.
were revealed before the season then?
Yeah, like a few
Alright.
weeks. But they weren't changed at all. Like that was the straight up as random as you could get.
There was one change.
Oh, yeah,
it was
'cause,
originally meant to be Einstein, Limit, and TG, but TG
Yeah.
forgot.
He just straight up forgot it was on that
He-
day.
TG literally forgot, so he got Oddballo instead.
Yeah.
Because I remember my first experience of Pathfinder was like before Season 1 was being recorded, I was in TS with FaZe, and I was like, what, you're like, oh, I'm just waiting to see, there's this really good RR that I'm a sub for, and I just hope I can make it. One person's like doing something, and if they don't come back, I get to play. And then like after it had been
That was
released, I
me.
played a
Fun
red
fact,
versus
that was
blue with
Max.
Max. I played a
was
red
Max.
versus blue with Max, and like he was the only person on my team I'd ever heard of, so I asked him to like get into TS. I was like,
Thought I
oh,
was
you're
European.
that guy from Pathfinder.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, you're the one who made FaZe not be able to play the version.
Yeah, I was.
Dang.
For those who did, sorry.
Yeah, sorry
For
for
the-
playing
for
an
those-
RR that you were in. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ, Max.
for those who didn't know, Pathfinder 1 was delayed by about an extra 30 minutes, all because
Why
it was,
do you know
all because it was. Well, now you know, and fun teaching.
Also, did you say delayed by 30 minutes?
Yeah, delayed
Mission
by
14 was an hour and a half, so.
what?
We
No,
had to
but this
redo
was
it
purely
the
because of
same day.
Max.
Oh,
Because
okay.
of you,
Well,
Max? Wow, way to go.
I had important duties in
Yeah,
Minecraft.
shit.
And it was my sister's birthday at the time, which is October 6th of 2015. and all my parents wanted me to. All my parents, all two of them. They
All
two of them.
they wanted me downstairs like as soon as possible. So I ate cake, and then we did a quick run of the presents.
Oh yeah,
and
you said chugging dessert.
No, that was
and then I
That was
ran
other
up.
memes.
I ran upstairs and I got on, and when I put my headset on, the first thing I heard Joey say was, "I'm just gonna get phased," and I was like, "No, I'm here," and then if I was like 30 seconds late, phased would have been on the server, and I would have been kicked. So it was pretty good close.
I think it would have been better
Changing
that
the
way.
sorry.
Yeah, change.
Episode 1 of Pioneer was released 4 minutes ago.
No,
something
we're
we
not
were discussing
doing
earlier
this.
on. So they've
hate
done
you.
pioneering of communication. It's a mystery teams game. Now, to me, it just kind of looks like they've taken a
up.
game mode and just shoved pioneering
Stab
at the
you.
start of it.
You can shove Pioneer in just about any game mode and work it out, really.
Yeah.
Pioneering of nuance.
Well,
You
here's the
could
thing,
put
though.
it-
If you say you're the pioneer or something, that means that you are at the
Oh
forefront of it. You're advancing.
The very
Mystery.
first.
In what world is Mystery Teams Rumble pioneering?
It's their first time playing Mystery Teams, probably. It's their first time ever playing Mystery Teams in the entirety of the game mode. So
I've never
it's
seen a
Surely
Mystery Team.
pioneering, they have to do a unique game mode every season because
That's
pioneering is
honestly-
literally exploring something new.
Okay,
That's
I
the
gotta
only way they
say,
can do it well.
If anybody from the Pioneering crew is listening to me right now, or this podcast more like it, if you actually did like original game modes that are interesting as part of the Pioneer thing, I would give props to you, because I think that's actually pretty interesting. If you spun around Pioneer as in like
No, you
new
wouldn't,
game modes,
Max.
no, if you do
You
new
would
game
still
modes.
think it's a bad round. Don't even think it is.
If you do new game modes that nobody else has done before, then that really is actually pioneering that game mode, which is I can give more respect to as opposed to just doing no mystery teams communication. You know,
It's like there's having a good concept and then there's executing it well. Like we were talking about that round that's based on the gods earlier. I'm saying like they had
Kratos.
to, no yes.
Yeah.
It was
No,
like
no, yes.
Thanatos or something.
Yeah,
and it was like based on that. And it was just
Assassins.
it was an FFA permanite.
yeah. I mean,
Anyway, do we want to close this off? It's been 2
Keep
hours.
rolling.
For the
Let's keep
Record Around
rolling.
podcast, I'm Lego Beast.
I'm maximum 50.
No,
Keep rolling.
Shut up.
Let's keep rolling. Come on,
You wanna
guys.
hear Max?
Is there anything
please.
else that there is to talk about that I missed
No,
that
we've
you guys
gone
still want to
through
touch
all
on?
We've
Oh,
gone.
Alright.
do you want to know what America's favorite RR intro is?
What?
WMC 14. You missed that.
That's good.
All right, yeah.
Not a
forget that.
bad-
Yeah, let's close it out
It's-
on
it's-
that note.
Right.
It's not a bad intro. It's not like my favorite.
Right.
Oh, America's taking the intro.
You're killing me, Max.
All right.
I mean the outro.
Okay.
America.
Intro, same
Go.
thing.
What's the outro?
He's
Wait,
closing
what
us
am I
off.
doing?
You're closing us off.
I'm
Oh,
sorry, I
close us
wasn't
off.
really paying attention.
America, close us off. Send us out.
Oh god, you trusting me with that?
Yes.
I wouldn't.
All right.
That's-
Well,
Shit.
I might want to
Close
lay this
us
duty on
out.
somebody else.
Alright.
No, I want America to do it.
All
Get
right.
good, America.
Oh god, this is too much pressure.
Oh my
This
god.
this has been the Recorded Round podcast. I'm your host, Shut Up Brick. See you guys next time.
Thank you, Cosmic.
Alright. See you later.
See ya.
Thank you for guesting, Pathfinder. It's been nice having you.
I think I did well in the last 10 or less
You know,
minutes.
Do I know why
I
didn't
I
know
think
Max
Max
was
was the
here?
best.
I
Do I know why?
agree.
No, because do I know why
Anyway,
you know Max
peace
was here?
out.